Unicorns Talk is a weekly podcast where we discuss the ups and downs of the human experience, from personal growth to romantic relationships and everything in between. This show is for life livers, life lovers, and life enhancers. My name is Tracee Sampson Richards, your life enhancement coach, and together we're going to laugh, love, and learn to maneuver all of life's little messes. Let's go. Hey everybody, it's Tracee Sampson Richards here, your life enhancement coach. I am a licensed professional counselor and a certified life purpose and relationship coach. And I'm excited to be here today. Y'all know I'm always excited to be here. Welcome to any new listeners, first time listeners. I appreciate you for tuning in. For anybody that has been here before, my loyal listeners, I'm so excited that I have loyal listeners. So to all of my loyal listeners, thank you so much for continuing to allow me to participate in your growth and participate in the manifestation of your goals and your dreams and, just maneuvering life. I mean, we're all on this journey together, right? And I hope that my show, this podcast, and the information that I have to give helps you along your journey. And helps you to get to where it is that you're trying to go. This is our first week on the new platform, so I'm super excited about that. I was hosting on SoundCloud, but I've now switched over to Libsyn. And so, the switch has been, relatively painless, just a few things here and there, but I really do like the new platform. I think you all are going to like the new platform a lot better. It's going to allow me to give you more over time and to be able to grow over time. And so I'm super excited about that. Our topic for this week is be seen. So we're going to be talking about vulnerability. And if you've listened to anything I've ever had to say, then you know how I feel about vulnerability. Vulnerability is extremely scary, but it's also extremely necessary. And over the last couple weeks, it kind of has been like a recurring theme that has come up. I've had several friends reach out to me and talk about their issues with vulnerability. One as recently as, last night, where she knows that she needs to be more vulnerable, but she's really struggling with the ability to be more vulnerable. And so, my story of vulnerability, I've shared multiple times that vulnerability has always been very, very difficult for me. I am a very headstrong Leo, and so, the idea of vulnerability has always been really scary for me, and I think it's scary for a lot of us. And so I went on this journey, or kind of embarked on my own personal journey as I was approaching 30. And that journey led me to vulnerability and my struggle with vulnerability. So I started doing some work around that. And now I'm just like letting the whole world know about the importance of vulnerability and teaching my clients, teaching my friends, my family, and also, you all, my listeners, how to get to a place of having some level of comfort with vulnerability, or at least maybe just trying to wrap your head around it. So we'll be talking about that today. The special feature today is actually going to be a high five. We're going to give a high five to Tracee Ellis Ross, who I freaking love. She is like amazing times 3 million. And so she's going to get the high five. And then I also have a really special announcement at the end of the show today. So stay tuned, okay? Let's go ahead and get started. So one of my friends a couple weeks ago, she sent me this post on Facebook. Y'all know I'm always like watching videos and stuff on Facebook. But she sent me this post on Facebook from a clip from 2014 from the Steve Harvey show. And I had actually seen this clip before, but when she sent it to me, I guess it was her first time seeing it. And then she and I had a conversation about it. So the clip was an African American couple, husband and a wife, and the wife had recently began embracing her natural hair. For the entirety of their relationship, she had always worn wigs or weaves. And so the first time her husband saw her hair in its natural state, he literally ran out of the house in horror. And, they had been together for like over 9 years. And he had, I don't know, I'm not going to say he never saw her natural hair, but based on that reaction, you would think that he never saw her natural hair. And he hated it. He hated her natural hair. She already had issues with her natural hair, which is why she wore wigs and weaves for so long. Not that every black woman that wears wigs and weaves have issues with their natural hair, or insecurities about their natural hair. But for this particular African American woman, she did. And so anyway, she already was, self-conscious about it and not confident at all about her hair and wearing her hair in its natural state. And then her husband's reaction to that definitely didn't help. So they went to Steve Harvey, who has rebranded himself as a love expert and a relationship expert. And Steve, kind of helped them get through that situation. That got me to thinking about, how many people are in relationships of all kinds and never letting somebody see their hair. And I mean, literally, their natural hair or whatever. But I'm talking about figuratively also. How many of us, or how much time are we spending in relationships with people that know absolutely nothing about us, or at least not anything of substance, right? We go through life and we interact with people across all different areas of our lives, and we are so afraid of allowing ourselves to be seen in our natural state. Like, this is who I am, this is what I think, this is what I like, like those types of things. Just being, period. And so I think that that's a travesty. But I also can understand it and I can connect with it because, like I said, my journey just started. My journey started about 5 years ago when I was approaching 30, where I kind of realized that I wasn't really displaying myself, And so I'm going to talk more about my journey as I go through the topic today. But there's just a few things that I would like for us to kind of talk about, like a few points that I want to make, okay? One, I think that there are so many people in this world who have no idea about what it means to be really seen, or what it feels like to feel seen, and I think that that's a travesty. Like, it really is, and a tragedy, to be honest. But so many people walk around and go through life never actually being seen, never actually feeling like they can put themselves on display. And that's from my perspective, being, I want to save the world and I'm a healer and I just want everybody to be happy and I want everybody to achieve their goals and achieve their dreams. And I'm a dreamer. I'm a silver linings kind of girl. But the idea that, there are people, or the reality that there are people out there who will never know and never knew what it was to really be seen and to feel seen, it really breaks my heart. And I think that, so many of us take that, like that this is what life is handing us. And we just take that as this is what life is. And there's so much more out there for us if we allow ourselves to be seen. The hand that you were dealt, you can't do nothing about that, right? You can't do nothing about the circumstances or the situations that you were born into. But there does come a point in your life where you can allow people to see you for who you really are, to see yourself for who you really are. And that's a choice that you make. And so we'll talk a little bit more about that in a few minutes. The second thing that I really wanted to say or to point out is that there is a difference between making a scene and being seen. Okay. And the reason why I think it's important to make this delineation between those two things is because nowadays in our culture, with social media and we got Instagram, we got Facebook, we're trying to get likes, we're trying to get followers. And listen, I'm trying to get likes and followers. Okay. I'm trying to build a brand. All right. And so I need to get as many likes and follows as I can. All right. But there's a lot of people out there, just, everyday folks who are living their life one post to the next, and their value and how they validate themselves is really very closely connected to how many likes they have, how many, followers they get, and they get this false sense of validation as a result of that. And so what happens is that they make a scene. What can I do next? What's bigger? What's badder? What's more controversial? And all of these things tend to, pull them away from the reality of who they are. Making a scene is a learned behavior. Okay. It's a learned behavior. We learn how to make a scene. We learn how to get the attention that we crave. We learn how to thwart the attention that we don't want to receive. Okay. We learn how to exist in situations that we have to exist in, whether we want to exist in those situations or not. We learn how to do those things. All right. All of that is included in making a scene. Making a scene is, in essence, putting on a facade or a mask. All right. I remember the day I learned what the word facade meant. I was in college and I had a friend of mine who was a super, super smart guy. And he used the word facade, and I had to go Google that word because I had never heard it before. And when I read the definition of facade, it was like a light bulb went off in my head. And facade is like one of my favorite words ever. When people put on a facade, the facade or the mask, it may have some very real moments, or it may be loosely based in reality, but it is far from reality. Okay. It may have some components of reality, but it's not real. Okay. We all play roles. Okay, we all have different roles that we wear, and each of those roles, we all have roles that we fill, and each of those roles requires a mask. And this is something that we have to develop over time, is the art of mask wearing. And let me tell you, as a Black woman in America, okay, in the healing profession, okay, I have mastered the art of mask wearing. All right. But my art, like the art of mask wearing, in terms of filling the roles that you play in this life or in this world, is not necessarily about pretending to be something that you're not, but it's about being who you need to be in that moment in order to get along. Okay. And it typically does not have a negative impact on you. The problem arises when we are trying to fulfill a role that was never meant for us. Whether that is, a role that is such a major deviation from the reality of who we are, trying to be something that we're not, or the people we are supplying the role for don't belong in our lives. 9 times out of 10, or more often than not, we choose to stay in these roles in order to cover up who we really are, or in order to get something that we really want. And that something that we really want can be tangible or intangible. Tangible in terms of money, sex, fame, things like that. But more likely, it's the intangibles that cause us to stay in roles or to continue to put forth the facade even when it's detrimental to us. And those intangibles are things like love and support and acceptance and validation. Things that only exist on an internal level. things that can be felt, but not necessarily touched. Those things are the things that motivate us to put on a facade that has a negative impact on us internally. And those are the things that we have to try to figure out how to give or get for ourselves, and not necessarily be dependent on getting those things from the people or the world around us. All right. Another aspect of making a scene is that it causes a distraction in order to keep the onlookers at bay. And this was a big thing for me, right? So my fear of vulnerability was so great that I would put together this facade, or I would put forth this facade that said, this is the kind of person that I am, right? I always have it together. I'm a good girl, which I am a good girl. I mean, I think that is true. Like I said, it's loosely based in reality. But I don't do this. I don't do that. I'm a good person and I don't make bad decisions. Now, I never verbally said those things, but that was the facade that I was putting forth. And what it was really doing was providing a distraction for the people around me and the people closest to me, so that they wouldn't see the ugly parts of who I am. It kept the onlookers at bay. Okay? It kept them a safe enough distance away, because if they think that they know who I am, they think that they can put me into this little box that I am telling them this is the box that I go in, inadvertently, because I wasn't even aware of it. I didn't know that I was putting myself in that box, but I was. Okay? And it keeps them from really taking a look and seeing some of the ugly parts that I really would rather people not know about me, which reduces my risk of rejection, reduces the risk of abandonment, reduces the risk of not being accepted, or worse, being tormented or bullied. Okay? So making a scene keeps people at bay. But it's a catch-22, because what would happen is that, I would then start feeling negative feelings, or really feeling boxed into the box that I put myself into. Right? So then I would be mad at people for putting me in that box. How dare you put me in that box? You don't know who I am. You think you know, but you don't know. Yeah, but that's who you told me you were. Okay? So putting forth that type of facade, it makes sure that you're never truly seen, but it also makes sure that you're never truly happy. And it indirectly validates your negative thoughts about yourself and your place in this world. And it becomes this cycle over and over and over and over and over, until we get to a place where we are absolutely miserable and we feel like we have nobody to go to. Nobody understands us. Nobody knows us. Nobody gets us. All right? But there is another way, and that is to be seen, to allow yourself to truly be seen. Being seen is also a learned behavior for some people. Some of us, it doesn't come easily for everybody. There's this kid at the school where I work my 9-to-5 job. And he's a little kid, maybe 6, 7 years old, definitely not older than 8. I want to say maybe 7 years old. And he just lacks any type of self-confidence. He's very extremely hard on himself, and he's consumed by the thoughts of his peers, like the perspective of his peers, the way they see him. Anytime he says or does anything that he thinks might not be perceived well, then he completely shuts down. And so I've been working with him to try to help him to be more confident and things like that. And he's making some progress, but that just, highlighted for me that some of us struggle naturally with, naturally struggle with being seen. Okay. And so we have to learn how to be seen. We have to work with someone who has technical skill sets that can teach us how to allow ourselves to be seen and to resolve some of the issues that we have been, kind of carrying around with us that is preventing us from truly allowing ourselves to be seen. Being seen, though, is necessary for emotional survival. Genuine connections stem from vulnerability. There is no other way to get to a genuine connection. And for somebody like me who's absolutely or was absolutely terrified of vulnerability, that was a hard pill to swallow because I'm also a people person and I love people and I thrive on close personal interactions. My close connections are really important to me. Okay. And so this idea that in order to strengthen my connections and to have, to fortify these connections and to have relationships with people that are genuine and authentic and real and beneficial, mutually beneficial, meant that I had to allow myself to be seen. Listen, that was a hard pill to swallow. It's difficult, but it's necessary. There is no other way. All right. And we need to allow ourselves to be seen in multiple areas. All right. In our work life, it looks differently, right? It looks differently in every area. In our work life, it looks like going the extra mile in order to put your skills on display. Taking initiative, doing a little bit extra, showing them that you know what you're doing, right? And it also looks like accepting praise. If there was a team project, yeah, there's no I in team, but there's definitely a you in that team. You participated in that team. Okay? You participated in that team. And if your work helped push the team over the mark of excellent, take that praise, accept that praise, allow yourself to be vulnerable and to be seen as someone who is proud of their work. All right. In our romantic relationships, it looks like showing all of your crazy, putting your crazy on display, but also showing all of your love and putting all of your love on display. Being honest about what your wants and your needs are, including your sexual wants and needs. But it's also sharing your fears and sharing your comforts. Okay? All of those things are necessary in romantic relationships in order to strengthen and fortify those connections. All right? In interpersonal relationships, it looks like exploring your interests and creating the tribe or the tribe groups that you need. Right? Going out and seeing, trying things that you always wanted to try, but you was always afraid to do it. What does that look like? Who are the people that do that? It looks like asking for and accepting help from others. Not just help in the sense of, working with the life coach or working with the counselor on some deeper issues, but also help in the sense of, I need a couple extra dollars this month. Or I need a shoulder to lean on. I need a ride to work. Ask for that help. Make yourself vulnerable. Put yourself on display. Show that you need help. You need assistance. You don't have it all together. All right? It also looks like verbalizing your pains and standing up for yourself when you feel wronged by a friend. And showing how much you care by calling your friends out when they are veering off track. I always say real friends can tell you when you fucking up. And if you can't tell me when I'm fucking up, you ain't my friend. Point blank, period. I don't need you in my life. All right? In our family connections, it looks like living your life without permission. Okay? I'm from the South. And in the South, family units are very interconnected. Everybody got something to say about your life choices and your life decisions. And it can be really difficult to fight back on those or to push back against those things. I know. Trust me, I know. All right. But being seen means saying to whoever you need to say it to that these are the decisions that I've made. These are the choices that I'm moving forward on. And it might be good choices, it might be bad choices, but they're my choices. And I need you to support me anyway. Okay? And it also looks like freeing yourself from the legacy of your ancestors, dead or alive. Okay? And those legacies can be negative or positive. Right? How many times you get in trouble and somebody tell you, you just like your daddy, you just like your mama, in a negative way. And you spend your whole life trying not to be that person. You spend your whole life trying not to end up just like them. You're running from that shadow, running from that legacy. Release yourself of that. Release yourself from that. Or maybe your parent or your aunt or your uncle was a awesome, amazing person. And you have to live up to the legacy that they left behind. And it's overwhelming. Relieve yourself of the responsibility to uphold that legacy. Start your own legacy. Be who you are and let that be great. All right? And all of these things, it starts with yourself. Accepting who you are and where you are and seeing yourself for real, for real. Forgive yourself for not being who you think you should have been. And resolve yourself to become the person that you want to be and the person that you know you are destined to be. All right? That is how you are seen. That's what it means to be seen. And the more you put yourself on display, the more you accept who you are and indulge in who you are and learn how to use who you are to your advantage, the more you're going to draw in relationships that celebrate who you are and that allow who you are to exist. All right? It's not a quick fix. It doesn't happen overnight. And for some of us, it's tedious and we need support. And I'm here for that. Along with countless other, coaches and counselors who can help you along that journey. But you have to make the decision to do so first. All right? So that's it for today, in terms of being seen. It's necessary. You have to allow yourself to be seen. It's not fair to you because you never get a chance to truly experience what it feels like to be seen. But it's also not fair to the people around you because they never get a chance to truly experience you in all your glory. And they never get a chance to really understand all of the greatness that you have to offer. All right. So be seen, allow yourself to be seen, and live life and be happy. And if you need some help with that, give me a call. I'm here. All right. Okay. So coming up next is our high five. Okay, so this week's high five goes out to Tracee Ellis Ross and J.C. Penney. So this week, Tracee Ellis Ross, who I love, we all know Tracee Ellis Ross as obviously Diana Ross's daughter, but she has made a name for herself outside of her mother, and she's America's #1 sitcom mom on the show Blackish. And so Tracee Ellis Ross is a freaking fashion icon. She is amazing and she's hilarious. And she's just a really good person. She's like a friend in my head. Like, I feel like I would want to sit on a sofa with her and just talk shit, But anyway, Tracee Ellis Ross announced this week that she is releasing a 45-piece holiday collection with J.C. Penney. The prices range from $9 to $75. Sizes range from small to 3X. She says that this collection is for everybody and everybody. Okay. It goes on sale on November 12th. The pieces look freaking amazing. She designed every single piece herself, so she was involved in the entire collection. Which I mean, I feel like you can really see her in the whole collection. You can check out the pictures on Instagram. But high five to Tracee Ellis Ross, not just for giving us great fashion, but also I think for showing us what it really looks like to be seen. She's not afraid to put herself on display and not afraid to be seen. And I love that about her, and I can appreciate that. And I think that we all can learn from her example of just being who she is unapologetically, and loving every moment of it, even the moments where she's not so in love with it. You get what I'm saying? Yeah. So high five Tracee Ellis Ross. High five JC Penney's. I love the collection. I can't wait to get a few pieces, especially now since I done shaved down a few pounds. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna be able to catch me a few pieces out of that collection. And I don't know, maybe you should follow me on Instagram so you can see my pieces. I'm gonna have to do a little photo shoot or something like that. Okay. The last thing that I wanted to just kind of touch on this week, or the announcement that I had talked about at the beginning of the show. October is Domestic Violence Awareness Month, and my life has been personally touched by domestic violence, once in this lifetime, and then once prior to my lifetime, my existence. My family was rocked by just two very tragic losses at the hands of domestic violence. One as recently as last year. One of my cousins was killed by her partner, and it was very tragic. It was very horrible, and my family is still recovering from that. And so I definitely wanted to do something to participate in raising awareness of domestic violence. And so my last show for this month, which is, what day is that going to be on? Let me see. So we're doing Tuesdays now. So that's going to be on Halloween. Okay, on Halloween, October 31st, I'm going to dedicate to domestic violence awareness. And we're going to talk about, I'm still kind of formulating that show, but we're going to talk about, how to spot negative relationships and how to participate in healthy relationships. More importantly, how to have the strength to get out of a bad relationship when it's necessary. And so leading up to that show, another thing that I want to do is to participate in the Remember My Name project. And so the Remember My Name project was created in 1994 by the National Coalition Against Domestic Violence, and it's to honor those who we have lost at the hands of domestic violence. And so what I want to do is I want you all to send me the names of your loved ones who you have lost at the hands of domestic violence. And we are going to remember those people. At the end of that show on October 31st, I am going to take a few minutes to just speak their names, and I'm going to list all of the names that came to me from my listeners, from my followers, and we're going to remember our loved ones, and we're going to remember not how they were lost, but how they lived, because at the end of the day, it's how they lived that really mattered. But we want to make sure that nobody else has to experience this, and we want to try to make sure that we get the word out about domestic violence and how preventable it actually is. Okay, so you can either email me your names, the name of the people that you would like to be remembered, at Unicorns Talk Podcast at LatriceSampsonRichards.com, or you can use the hashtag Remember My Name or the hashtag Unicorns Fight Back, and at me on Twitter at LSamRichards. Okay, so that's Unicorns Talk Podcast at LatriceSampsonRichards.com. Shoot me an email with those names, and make sure you put Remember My Name in the header or in the subject line, or you can at me on Twitter at LSamRichards with the hashtag Remember My Name or Unicorns Fight Back, because we are going to learn how to fight back. All right. And so, yeah, I'm looking forward to that, and getting the word out about that, and, we're going to try to put an end to domestic violence. It's a lofty feat, but we're going to do our part to make that happen. Okay? That's all I got for y'all tonight or today. I appreciate y'all for tuning in to this episode or episode 12 of the Unicorns Talk podcast. If you like what you heard, please subscribe, download, like, comment, and share with all of your friends and family. Make sure you follow me on Instagram and Facebook at Tracee Sampson Richards, on Twitter at LSamRichards. Hit me up. Check out the website if you're interested in, if you're ready to allow yourself to be seen. You're at a point in your life where you are ready to be truly, genuinely seen, and you need some help with making that happen. Head over to the website, fill out a contact form. Let me know. I got you. Okay? I got you. All right, y'all. I love y'all and I appreciate y'all. And until next time, be well.